Parts of Sexual Hope,
and I'm William Sexual Faith,
and we are MCs for the first session of Pep Talk. I would like to know who among our co-people here have any idea what this Pep Talk program is.
The first one to give us an answer will receive 1 house point from the Secondary Affairs Department. Anyone? Yes, Adi, what is your answer? Adi, please tell us your answer.
State your name and your class.
I am Adi of Sec 2 Hope, and my answer is Pupil Enrichment Program.
Close enough, thank you.
And for your wonderful answer, you will get 1 house point and 1 applause to everyone.
Pep Talk, short for Pupil Enrichment Program Talk, is a new program of the Secondary Division and managed under the Secondary Affairs Department.
It is a platform that allows the division to link pupils with successful, significant, important, prominent, and influential people in our society and from overseas to inspire us, motivate us, and give us tips on how to make it to the next level of our young lives as successfully as they did.
To introduce this program further and to officially open and welcome us all to this forum, we like to call on our Secondary Division Head, Dr. Dave Janfate.
A round of applause, please.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. On behalf of the Secondary Division, it is my pleasure to welcome everyone to first ever Pep Talk in the Secondary. In particular, I would especially welcome and thank our guest speaker, Kun Itim, for his availability and time to come and visit us to inspire our secondary students today. He will be formally introduced later. Also, I would especially like to thank Mr. JR and Miss Amai for taking the initiative to organize this event for the secondary students. To our secondary teachers as well, thank you for your support and for being so flexible and understanding to accommodate today's event by suspending the timetable in the secondary this afternoon. I believe an activity such as this provides a very good platform to inspire our young generations to be more confident and informed individuals with good sense of self-awareness and equipping them with practical skills, knowledge to take on the challenges of their future. I hope this platform will not be the first and last of this academic year. Our students definitely need a lot more beyond what they are learning in their classrooms. Again, warm welcome and thank you.
Thank you, Teacher Dave, for that warm and very welcoming opening remarks.
We would like first, before we start with the talk, we would like first to showcase the talents of some of our pupils from the Secondary 1 and Secondary 2 levels for institution number.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today dance number on a Thai song, Locked It Silent, My Ambulance, which talks about love. Let's give it up for the Dance Elective Group.
did, and to think they barely had 4 hours of preparation time.
Yes, indeed, it was a wonderful performance. We'd like to thank the energetic performers of the dance elective group, and of course the teachers behind the dance group, Teacher JR, Teacher Rachel, and Teacher Christian. A warm applause for them, please.
Now, to usher to the much awaited part of today's activity, we would like to call on Dr. Khan, our Thai principal, to introduce and welcome our guest speaker.
To my co-administrators, co-teachers, pupils, guests, and the entire TSIS family, good afternoon. Today I have the privilege to introduce to you one of the well-known and distinguished young figures in Thailand in the present age. Our guest speaker was born to a prominent and political and medical Thai family. His parents are both doctors, and his mother is a distinguished professor and the head of the Child Psychiatric Unit of the Department of Psychiatry in Chulalongkorn University, and also a psychiatric specialist for children and adolescents in Bamlungrat International Hospital. His uncle is the former Democratic Party leader and the Prime Minister of Thailand from 2008 to 2011, Abhisit Wacharasindhu, and it was that in the office of the Prime Minister while working as a trainee at the tender age of 70 that he saw himself entering into Thai politics in the future. He had a vibrant academic life to prepare him for such endeavor. He was trained and educated in Itim College, then graduated with a degree of philosophy, politics, and economics (PPE) from St. John's College of the University of Oxford. While in Oxford, he was elected president of the Oxford Union Society in Michaelmas 2013. Oxford Union is the largest society at Oxford University and one of the oldest debating society in the world. He was the first Thai national to be elected to this position. After graduating from Oxford, he went to work as a management consultant for the firm McKinsey & Company and left the job in 2018 to return to Thailand to finally enter politics as a dedicated member of the Democratic Party and became MP candidate in the 2019 general election. Parit is also an active television host and producer to share and inspire us with his academic life at the university and his remarkable career. May I have the honor to present to you our guest speaker for the first forum of Pep Talk Inspired Generation. Please welcome Mr. Parit Itim. Wacharasindhu. Thank you.
Okay. Hi everybody, how are we all doing? Good? Okay. I know it's always a challenge to give a talk, especially a 1 hour talk straight after lunch, because I know exactly what every student in here are all thinking and how sleepy they can get after lunch. But today I want to share my experiences both when I was your age up until where I am today. Can anyone guess how old I am from looking at my face? Let's see who's closest. 26. Any other takers? 23. Oh, very happy. I like it. 18. Okay, that's a bit too young. That's a bit too young. Anyone else? 30. More than 30? Who thinks I'm higher than 30? More than 30? Oh wow. I must have aged quite a lot. I'm actually 26. So not that, so spot on with the first answer. So not that long ago, I was actually in your position, right? As an international school student, actually at one of your neighboring schools called Shrewsbury International School in Toronto. I was there when I was 13, no, when I was 11 to 13, and I remember every other week, every other month, there would be a random adult at the age of 26 come in and give a speech about what they're doing with their lives. And it's always difficult to kind of think about how is that relevant to me, right? While I'm so stressed about the work that I have, while I just want to go out, leave school and play with my friends, what actually is the usefulness of all these talks? Right? So today, I don't want to guide you in terms of saying, you need to take what I say as kind of a recipe for what you need to do after this. But just take whatever you feel is useful for you, right? Because there is no correct path for everyone. Everyone's path is very different. Right? Actually, when I was asked to give a speech here today, the topic that I really wanted to talk about was actually about growing up. Right? Because at the end of the day, if I can go back in time and tell myself when I was your age, I think what I wanted to know the most was, what's the most challenging thing about growing up? Transitioning from a child to an adult. But firstly, just to quickly kind of share my background, right? But I think you will all give it a very detailed description of my life so far. But as I mentioned, I was in your position at Shrewsbury International School up until year 6. I then won a scholarship to go and study at a UK boarding school in England called Itim College. It was an all-boy boarding school, which was a very kind of a bit of a shock to me when I first transitioned. I then went to the University of Oxford to read philosophy, politics, and economics. After I graduated, I actually wanted to enter politics right away, but back then Thailand was under a military government, so that option was closed to me involuntarily. So I decided to go and work and find some experiences at a company called McKinsey & Company. We were a management consulting company that basically gives advice to big businesses and governments around the world in terms of solving their strategic problems. So let's say there's a soft drinks company selling Pepsi. They want to expand to another country. They would hire in companies like McKinsey to come and analyze which country they should expand to. So I did that for about 2.5 years before I decided to quit my job and enter politics. I had a bit of a 6-month break because I had to serve in the Thai military, as some of you here might also end up facing as a result of the conscription policy. But after that I came out and I decided to run for Member of Parliament in Bangkok at a district called Bakapi, not too far from here. The result was not as I expected. I mean, in a democracy, you can never, if you're a true believer in democracy, you can never always count on winning, because at the end of the day, it's the people who decide who wins. The result was not what I had hoped, but the bigger disappointment for me was actually when the party that I was a member of, or the Democrat Party, decided to join up with the current pro-military government, pro-military prime minister. And when your ideology and your beliefs in terms of where the country should head, and parties' beliefs are different, I decided to quit. So over the past 2 months, I am currently exploring and about to make a decision on my next move. So that's kind of my life so far. Initially, I was going to do this talk in an interactive way where you guys can play with your phone and send it, but I understand that you guys don't have your phones on you, right? No, okay, so we'll skip that bit. When we talk about growing up, right, I try to kind of break this down into 4 simple steps, which will kind of guide my talk today. Right? I think the first step in terms of growing up is discovering yourself. What do you actually want to do when you eventually graduate from the school, when you eventually graduate from university? But then after that, it's about also preparing for university. So once you discover yourself what you wanted to do, then you might need to think about which university, which degree, which course do you want to study to improve your knowledge in that field. Once you've made that preparation, let's say you get into the university of your dreams, then it's about how do you enjoy that university life, right? And I tell you, university life is much, much more than just studying. And then finally, the fourth step of growing up is when you leave your comfort zone of your university and end up being a member of the working society, right? Becoming a member of the economy, becoming a member of our country. How do you contribute to society alongside doing what you enjoy? So for me, that's kind of four steps of growing up. Starting really with discovering yourself, making preparations to improve yourself, and then finally contributing to society. So firstly, in terms of discovering yourself, right? Perhaps maybe I can ask you this kind of very open-ended question. Can someone share with me their childhood dream? Okay, of which country? Of the Philippines. Ooh. Very ambitious, but very, very daring dream. And actually, Philippines is very well known for gender equality, right, which is always a big obstacle for countries like Thailand. We've only never had one female prime minister. In the Philippines, gender equality is very good. So I wish you all your successes. Anyone else that childhood dream? It doesn't have to be as major, right, as being president. Anyone else a childhood dream? Sorry? What ticket? Go watch. Okay. So that's a different dream, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that there's no one correct dream, right? Your dream could be something as major and as ambitious as becoming president and making major changes to your whole country. Or it could be just something simple. I remember asking my friend what their dream was, and all they said to me was they just wanted to be 80 years old and look back and have no regrets. They don't really care what they were, they don't really care what job they do. They just want to look back when they're older without any regret. Right? So at the end of the day, there is no correct dream. Right? I want to show you this picture because let's say we take your dream of becoming president. Some people see the positive side of it. Some people see the negative side of it. What do you see with this picture? Okay, I see what you're getting at. So you've seen this before. Anyone else want to see this picture? Albert Einstein. Okay, interesting. You see someone who's relatively old, right? Most people will see an older woman. But if you flip this picture upside down, what you see is, as you mentioned, is a princess with a crown on top. What this kind of optical illusion teaches you is that at the end of the day, two people can look at the same thing, but one of them might view it from one angle, another might view it from another angle. So let's say we take your dream of becoming president. For her, the dream of being in a position to change your country, to contribute and make meaningful changes to her country is something which is great, something which she loves to do. To another person, they might say, this sounds like such a tiring and stressful job. Right? So at the end of the day, there is no correct dream, right? There is no correct version of this picture. When you're looking at the same thing, two people might have different perspectives on it. So don't worry if your dream is so different from other people's dream. Right? There is no wrong dream. If you ask me about what my childhood dream was, I have to confess that it was initially nothing to do with politics. It wasn't as grand as this. When I was really young, what I actually wanted to do was become a pilot. I don't know why, I cannot explain it for any reason. I just felt that it was super cool to be able to fly, right? And to be in charge of a plane like many meters above the sky. But then what happened was, the first time I got on a plane to travel abroad, I got really plane sick. Right? I got really dizzy, I couldn't even move around. So that kind of killed my childhood dream off very quickly. So then I moved on to a different dream. My second dream was actually to become a football player. Now, who in here knows who this guy is? Oh wow. I think this really reflects how much I've aged. So this guy used to be a really famous footballer back when I was younger. He's called Michael Owen, right? He was a striker for Liverpool Football Club, the greatest football club in this world. And I was really inspired by what he was doing because he was much, much shorter than everyone else. Right? But he was still able to establish himself as one of the biggest or one of the most successful strikers at that time. And given that I was studying in the UK and I was much shorter than everyone else, I was always the smallest guy in the room. This guy really inspired me. So my second dream was actually to become a footballer. But then that didn't work out too well either because when I started playing football, I realized that my skills did not really match my passion. So the dream of becoming a footballer faded. So then I finally landed on my childhood dream of going into politics, right? And I think one thing to stress here is your dream is not often easily explained by reasons, but it's often explained by emotion. Right? When you say you want to become president, you want to become a doctor, you want to become a teacher, sometimes it's hard to explain with reason. Right? For me, my dream or my self-discovery that I went through to decide I wanted to go to politics was a result of three different emotions. Right? The first emotion was that I liked it. Back when I was very young, even when I was in primary school, I always enjoyed being the representative of my friends. Right? Whenever there was a kind of an election where someone had to act as a class leader to go and kind of distribute jobs to everyone, kind of make the system much fairer in terms of who has to do which duties, which chores. I always enjoyed that. I remember the first time I spoke in one of these school assembly halls was when we had a competition for Pratom, which is I'm guessing someone who's Thai would know Pratom, right? And the group decided to volunteer me up to basically give a speech on why Pratom was the best. Like very, very minor stuff that was nothing to do with politics, but I just enjoyed and liked being a group representative. Right? I enjoyed the fact that I had the additional responsibility of doing what's best for our group of people. But then the second emotion was a little bit of guilt. Back up when I was at international school, when I was really young, I started to realize how lonely people was. And that realization actually came from when I was playing football with my friends during lunch break. So back at my international school, our football field is right at the edge of the school. Right? There's a kind of a relatively congested community outside the school next to it. And whenever we play football, we will always kick the ball over the fence. So we have to always take turns to go and fetch the ball outside the school in that kind of congested community. And every time we go into that community, what we realize is that there's also another set of children, completely our age, probably as hardworking as we are, probably as talented as we are. But instead of getting a chance to be in one of these schools, getting high quality education, they weren't at a school. When you look inside their homes, they didn't have constant supply of clean water or constant supply of electricity. So that kind of feeling of guilt started to hit me, where I realized, hey, I don't know what I've done in my previous life to deserve this better opportunity than those children. So, given that I've been lucky in my life, it's almost a duty for me to kind of repay that luck in some way and diversify, make sure that every kid in Thailand, every kid in the world gets the same opportunity to succeed. Right? Because those kids could be even more hardworking than I am. They could be even more talented than I am, but they just didn't get a chance to get the same opportunity because of factors that are not related to their own doing. So that kind of feeling of guilt made me realize that, hey, during this life, I actually want to give back to society. And I felt that a career in politics is one way to actually help develop the country and fix the problems that we are currently facing. But then finally, the final kind of emotion that led me to politics was one of hope. Because when I saw that problem in terms of the inequality of opportunity between me and those kids, I would always ask the adults in Thailand, saying, hey, why are we not fixing this? Why are we not being able to give kind of high quality education to these kids? And every time an adult in Thailand would reply back to me saying, can't do it, impossible, no way you can do it. But then when I won a scholarship to the UK, I started noticing the difference between the two. In the UK, when you ask a person of the three which school they send their kids to, most of them will tell you they send their their kids to a school closer to their house. When you ask them if your grandparents are ill, which hospital do you go to? Most of them will say we send them to the nearest hospital. When you come back to Thailand, that's not the same. I mean, how many of you here live about 5 minutes away from this place? 1, 2, okay. So fewer than 10, and fewer than 10%. The level of inequality in England or in the UK is much, much lower than it is here in Thailand. I mean, there are still problems in terms of the gaps between income for different segments. But the level of inequality in the UK is much lower than here in Thailand. Opportunities are spread across much wider and much more equally than it is here in Thailand. So this kind of feeling made me realize that, hey, if the UK can do it, why can't we do it? So because of these kind of three emotions, the emotion of enjoying being a representative, the emotion of feeling a little bit of guilt in terms of how lucky I've been with my life, and then a feeling of hope in the sense that if others can do it, Thailand can do it too, made me decide that, hey, I want to enter into politics. Now, politics is not the only career where you can develop a country. If you're a doctor and you cure people from their illnesses, that's also one way to develop a country. If you're a teacher and you teach kind of the next generations of leaders, that's also another way of developing a country. But I felt that politics was one way to develop a country that's quickest and truest to people's needs. Quickest in the sense that you can change the law and instantly the whole structure changes. But then also secondly, every 4 years you're assessed through an election. If you develop a country in a way that the people don't want, they will vote you out. So in a way, you always have to improve the country in the way that the people want. So there's always a check on you. There's almost like a teacher who always checks that you're doing the right thing for the country. So that's kind of why I decided to kind of pursue my dream of entering a career in politics. When I was 16, I decided to go for an internship during the summer break at a certain political party, where I kind of tried to find out a little bit more about what politics was all about, what the daily life of a politician entails. So, I mean, the first part of this, if you take one thing away from this part, is that there is no one recipe for self-discovery. There might be someone here sitting here who already know exactly what they want to do. They know they want to become president of the Philippines. Right? They know they want to be a doctor, they know they want to be a teacher. Pursue that dream. But for those of you sitting there thinking, I have no idea what I want to do, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right? There's no one recipe for success. Most people who are end up very successful actually end up discovering themselves very, very late on. So there is no one recipe in terms of what you should do. There is no one recipe in terms of when you should know what you want to do. Right? That's my take. That's the takeaway I want you to take from this in terms of discovering yourself. The second part is that once you discover yourself, how do you then plan for your next stage of your life? For those sitting that are in, I think, secondary 4, right, which is what you call them, you might be thinking about your university. In 2 years' time, you're going to be somewhere else. You might be studying somewhere else. Where should that place be? Right? So when we talk about preparing for university, and I know this is also a big issue in Thailand, is that a lot of times you will feel the social pressure, sometimes pressure within your family to get into a top university. Right? People will talk about top university. Hey, this university is so high on the ranking, we should get to this place. I want you to just pause for a second, right? And think about the top university for you. When we talk about how to prepare for getting into a top university, it's actually broken down into 2 steps. And most people often forget step 1. They often jump straight to step 2. Step 1 is actually choose what I call is the top place for you. As I mentioned, what you want to do in your life, your dream, there's no one correct recipe. Similarly, the top place or the top university for you might be different from the top place or the top university for someone else. Just because some random university is so high up some random ranking in the table, doesn't mean that has to be the place that you really want to go to. At the end of the day, take a bit of time first to step back and think about what the top place for you is. Because if I have to share kind of my experiences or what I've seen from my friends, one of the biggest regrets that a lot of people have is they jump straight to step 2. They jump straight to saying, hey, this university has such a good reputation, I need to get into this university. They end up working very hard for it, only to realize that once they get in, they actually don't enjoy their time there. And some of them actually have to drop out and then find another place to restart their university. So before jumping to step 2, right, pause at step 1 and think first about what the top place for you is. So how do you determine the top place for you? Right, I have a few tips that I want to share. The first is knowing your end game. Has anyone seen this movie? Oh, not as many as I hope. Avengers Endgame, right? Knowing your end game is about thinking about how you want to end up or where you want to end up. If you want to end up from running for president, that could be one of your end game. If you want to end up being a chef, that could be another end game. Think about first about where you want to end up, and then work backwards in terms of what it would require for you to get that. What it would require for you to have the necessary skills, what it would require for you to have the necessary experience, and then use that to guide in terms of which course or which university you want to do. I remember when I was debating whether I wanted to do politics or not, my other choice, alternative choice, was becoming a doctor. Maybe it's because both my parents are doctors, both my grandparents are doctors. So I get a little bit of family pressure saying, hey, you need to be a doctor too. So I decided first to decide on my end game. So in that summer break where I interned with Parit, I also decided to shadow a certain doctor in a hospital to figure out what the life of a doctor would be like. And I used that to decide first about, hey, what kind of end game, what kind of life I wanted to end up having, before working backwards to say, therefore I want to apply to this university for this course, therefore I need to do these subjects to be able to actually apply for those universities. If I end up wanting to do medicine and become a doctor, I might have to end up taking subjects like biology, chemistry, maybe physics. But because I knew that actually what I wanted to end up doing was in politics, I decided to choose my subjects, which were maths, history, economics, politics. Right? So knowing your end game is quite useful. If you don't know your end game, if you're not sure really what you want to do, then when you think about choosing your subjects, and a lot of you are thinking of choosing your A-level subjects, try and keep your options open. Right? If you're not sure whether you want to go down the sciences route or the social sciences route, you might end up doing a little bit of both. A lot of my best friend actually has no idea what he wants to do. I think even up to now, he still doesn't have no idea what he wants to do. But he's getting married next month and I need to go to his wedding. So at least he's got that part of his life going pretty well. But I remember when he chose his subject, he kept his options very wide open. He did maths, then he did physics to keep science option open, then he did history, then I think he did like design and technology. Right? So keeping your options very open so that eventually you can decide later where you want to end up. He ended up doing economics. So that would be my advice to you. And I would say, when you think about subjects, don't just think about the content or the curriculum or the knowledge of that subject. When you think about doing history, right? I'm sure if you say you want to do history to your parents, a lot of your parents will say, why? Like, what are you going to do afterwards? Are you going to become like a historian? Like, are you going to work in a museum? I had a friend who did theology, which was the study of religions. And the question he got from his parents was, what, do you want to become a monk? Right? But it's not really about that, right? When you learn history, it's not really the knowledge that counts. What is really valuable about learning history is not that you know exactly what happened in 1922 in the UK, you know exactly what happened in 1875 in France. Because those things I can find out on Google as well. I don't need to learn history to know that. But what learning history teaches you are the skills, right? The skills of being able to read a lot of text, compare different sources, figure out which one is more reliable. Skills that are very useful for a wide variety of jobs. I have friends who are journalists and they say the skills that they picked up when they learned history were super useful because when they had to do a lot of interviews, read a lot of news, compare the validity of each sources, that's the skills that they picked up in history class. So when you think about subjects, think about the skills that you're picking up more than just the content knowledge. The third tip is about choosing your country. Right? Obviously one option would be in Thailand. Right, very close by, very, very convenient. But a lot of times people might end up choosing between different set of countries that they've never been to. A lot of my friends who end up, Thai friends who end up in the UK, have never been to the UK before they apply for university there. Right? And when you think about country, you need to compare not just the country itself, but the systems as well. I take the example of anyone who is deciding between UK and US. Right? Obviously there are very different countries, different types of food, different types of people, but the education system are also a little bit different. So taking a bit of time to understand that nuance is very useful. The UK system, for example, is 3 years. It's a 3-year course for a bachelor's degree. The US is 4 years. So if you want to graduate quickly, UK could be an option. Another difference could be the level of specialization that you need to go to. The UK tends to cater more If you apply to physics in the UK, you pretty much spend every day just doing physics. So if you love it, that's great. But if you're not sure, then that can limit your options. Whereas the US tends to be a bit more general. And then finally, when you think about your destination, right? Your destination is not just a university, but it's also your university plus your course. Because at the end of the day, it's a combination. You might really want to do a certain course in a subject that you really want to do, but when you look at the university, the culture there, it doesn't really fit with your culture. Let's say if you want to study in a small town, where you know everyone in that university, you might not want to end up at a university in London, where it's a huge university, and you don't really get to spend your time with your friends. And then finally, step 2. So once you figure out what your top place is, then it's about how do you prepare yourself to get into that. I will skip through this very quickly because it's still a bit of a long way for you guys, right? Because there's no one in sixth form or the final 2 years yet. But first is about getting the grades, right? You might need to get the minimum grades necessary to apply. My only advice here is always be curious. Right? When we think about revising for exams, I'm sure a lot of you end up kind of revising last minute for your exam, right? And you realize when you're revising that there's a lot of content that you just don't understand, and there's too little time left to actually ask around. So my advice to you is always be curious. If you hear something in class and you don't understand, just try and figure it out by the end of that class. Go and ask your friend, go and ask your teacher. So that by the time when you come to revise for your exams, it's basically revision. It's looking at it the second time. It's not actually learning new knowledge, right? That's what kept me going at school. When you think about your personal statement, I think this is much further down the line, but make sure it's very personal. Before you apply to university, they will ask you to write an essay saying why you want to apply here, right? Make sure that when you read that statement, you can tell that it's about you. If it's too generic or too general, it could be about anyone who's interested in that subject. That is not personal enough. Then the next one is about these admissions tests, right? I took a picture of Cristiano Ronaldo here because he's arguably one of the best footballers in the world. What distinguishes him from other footballers is not necessarily his talent, but his hard work and his the fact that he practices very intensively almost every day. When you go and listen to interviews with people who manage Cristiano Ronaldo, they don't talk too much about his talent, but they talk about how he's always the last guy to leave the training field. And that's what got him there, right? So I think in terms of your admissions test, take the same mentality as Ronaldo. Practice, practice, practice. And then finally, when you end up getting interviewed by university, remember that what universities are looking for are not robots, right? They're looking for a student. So if you get a question in an interview, and I got so many questions in my interview at Oxford, which I didn't know the answer to, what they wanted to hear was a question that the student would ask back, or some interaction between the student and the teacher, to show that we're not robots, we're students who are willing to learn, we're willing to admit that we don't know something. It's just going to be challenging. And then, I think the next part, the next part for me is that once you get into university, is what mentality should you have to be able to enjoy your university life? And I think one of the quick lessons that I learned, so I think in this section I want to share with you the lessons that I picked up while I was in university, and the lessons that I didn't know back then when I was doing it. The first is, you don't need to be good at everything, right? There is no one in this world who is good at everything. And once you enter university, you realize that you're starting to transition from a generalist who has to do every subject to a specialist. Can you guys hear me? Can people in the back hear me or no? Thumbs up? A little bit, a little bit. Okay, I will try. So what you quickly realize at university is that you don't need to be good at everything, right? I did not realize this back when I was in primary school. I remember when I was in primary school, I still had the mentality that I had to be good at everything. Every time I took an exam across different subjects, when I get my results back, I would really, really stress over the subject that I didn't get a good grade on. One of those subjects was actually singing. Funny story is when I first had my singing exam, they gave out 20 marks. Right? Everyone was given a mark out of 20. 5 marks were given for the lyrics. I remember getting 5 out of 5 for that. I had a decent memory. The other 5 marks were given for rhythm. Right? I got 4 out of 5 for that section. But for the 10 marks that were given to tone and melody, I got 0. So I quickly discovered that there's no way that I can sing. Right? No matter how hard I practice, I'm never ever going to be able to sing. Right? And I used to get really stressed over this, right? I used to get super stressed about what I was not good at, instead of actually being happy about the subjects that I was getting a good score, like math, like English language, for example. And when you go to university, that's when you start to realize that you don't need to be good at everything, but you just need to be good at something you enjoy and you want to develop your skills in. This was a mindset that was kind of installed into me while at secondary school. The school in UK used to always teach me, hey, you don't need to get good grades about every subject, but find what you really, really like and push yourself to the next level of that. If you really like math, sure, we can always put you in a class in a year above to really push and challenge you. If you don't like any subject, why not try certain sports? Why not try music? Why not try drama? And see what you really like and what you really excel in. So that's kind of the first lesson I wanted to share. Now, the second lesson I wanted to share was that the most important lessons that you will get from a university are actually not in a classroom. So I remember in my first day at university, this was almost the first day when I arrived at Oxford University. I was super excited to be studying there, right? I had read about this philosophy, politics, and economics course, and I read the curriculum, and I realized this is something I really wanted to learn. I was super excited to go to the lectures, to go to tutorials, to read books regarding this, and learn about PPE. Right? But as the years go by at university, I started drifting away from dedicating all my time to studying, and I started dedicating more time to activities outside the classroom. I got involved in the Oxford University TSIS Society, which is a group of Thai students who organize events to kind of showcase Thailand to the rest of the world. I got involved in the Asia Pacific Society, where we would discuss kind of political issues that are happening in the region. Here we were selling dumplings to UK students. And I got involved in a football society, where what they did was they invited speakers or ex-footballers to come and share their experiences. This was me with Sol Campbell, one of Arsenal's most successful players. And then what I really discovered and spent the majority of my time on was actually this society called the Oxford Union. Right? The Oxford Union, as you might have heard earlier, is Oxford University's largest student society. We were founded based on the principle of free speech. Right? The society was founded 200 years ago as a result of a group of students secretly organizing a club to debate issues that the government did not allow the students to speak about. Back 200 years ago in the UK, people in the country did not have free speech. If they wanted to criticize the government, they had to speak privately to each other. So, as a result, a group of Oxford students decided to kind of set up this private club, which then grew on to become the university's largest student society. We would invite politicians, journalists, high-profile figures across different fields to basically come and debate issues with students. Make sure there's a two-way exchange of views. So I started getting involved in this, and part of being on the management committee is that every position is democratically elected. So if you want to serve on the committee, you need to stand up for election. Right? So this was me in my first term, where I stood for a position in the lower committee, and this was me kind of shamelessly voting for myself during that election. Right? So 2 years on, and this was kind of finally the day before my presidential election, where the two presidential candidates had to debate each other in terms of what they wanted to do for the society and for the university. And during my time as president of that society, if I look back in terms of what skills I picked up, I think it was probably even more during studying PPE. If I look at my time earlier this year campaigning in the national election,